So you know what I miss the most now that we're in 2024 YouTube? I miss the ability to drop an F-bomb right at the start. Like if you go watch my Ship 9500 review, I just F-bombs immediately and it got your attention. And there hasn't been a review lately where I'm just like, you know what? Just wish I could say, I could still do it. I just got to wait like, I think the minimum is 7 seconds, but really if you do it within the first 45, they really don't like it. So, fuck! Micah, what have you been doing? So, this channel, my whole career basically started with two things. The Ship 9500s and the Micca MB42s. And then they became the MB42X. And now, a fucking decade later, the MB42 G2. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying Zeos. But what about the RB42s? These things. The things you've been sucking the dick of for fucking decade. Like, literally almost half a decade. 5 years of, it's a brick and it's the best sounding small speaker, period. That is correct. This is a brick, and it is the best sounding small speaker, period. And it's $150. So do we really need a $100 pair of speakers? I mean, are they going to beat this? And here's what I'm going to say. In some aspects, they do beat this. And that is a very hard thing to do. I think the tweeter's been improved. All right, so let's sit. All right, wait, where? Stop. Put these down. Let me get my boombox. Let me get the Z boombox. In fact, if you haven't been to zboombox.com, I bought that URL because at some point I was going to build and sell. Oh God, the cat hair from the ground is on it. Ugh. Okay, that's my boombox. This was my idea. This was my design. I was going to get Micca MB42s. We'll pull the covers off. Oh, these actually have magnets. The original MB42s had pegs. The MB42Xs. Magnet grills, which is what the new ones have. But so physical differences. Look at the fucking dust on this. This is insane. I think this battery still works. And that still turns on. Which means if I get my phone, hold it, everybody. Oh, look at that. Oh. Minimize this. That's Birdman's Dirty Walk. Yeah, so anyway, I built this because I'm an obsessive lunatic nerd. I have to recharge that battery. That's awesome. And it made it so the speakers could detach and just come apart, and you could have like a portable sound thing. And years have obviously gone by. I built this like 10, 11 years ago. Put you down for a second. And it's sort of like the dream is kind of faded away, and then it's like, well, the RB42s, I could build another one out of that, and I just never did. And I'm like, well, the fuck, Micah? So, they're upside down currently. We'll sit down. We'll sit down with this one. Hi. We'll compare and contrast. Please don't fall off of here after living for 11 years. So the first thing I noticed is that the drivers are much closer together. Here you have probably a 1/2 inch gap, and here you have a 3 millimeter gap. The driver material is still this carbon fiber weave, but the dust cap is now pointy, and the tweeter went from a clear, whatever that tweeter is, it's clear, but there's like fabric behind it, to just a silk dome. So they squished it together, which is what you want. The closer these things can be, the better, which is why coaxials... Do I have a coaxial here? You're a virtual coaxial. You don't count. But that's why coaxial speakers like Kef stuff, where they have the tweeter literally put in the middle, is probably the best system, because then the sound comes from one point, whereas it comes from 2 points here, and it comes from closer 2 points here. Finish looks the same. Is the size the same? Hold on. I actually haven't... Yes, they are the same dimensions. Let me get up. The port in the back has improved a little bit. Whereas this was just a, hole with carbon. Oh, God, this thing needs to be... I probably should not keep it on the floor if I don't want it to be covered in trash. The port has been made larger and is now a plastic insert. You still get your binding post. It still says 4 to 8 ohms. It still says power handling 80 watts. Other than saying the MB42 G2, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't recognize a difference. There is a slight looks change, whereas they've now, and I guess this is strictly for no reason than looks, they've put a groove around the front of it and down the center on the top. If you keep the tweeter on top, this is the top of the speaker. I guess it's nice. I thought they did that so you wouldn't see the seam in the vinyl, but if I turn this over, there's still a seam in the vinyl, so they didn't do that for that reason. Putting this back upside down over here, just because, honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. They're so small, it doesn't matter. We'll put that to the front. I currently am not using a subwoofer with them. I can enable that Kali dual 6.5-inch subwoofer, and then you guys are all going to go, what the fuck, Zeos? And I'm going to be like, relax, bro, it's coming. So the system I've currently got going on to power them is slightly higher end than you'd probably end up doing at home. I've got the Stark Crimson monoblocks, which are like $2,000 now for the newer version. So there's the best, cleanest amps in the world there, but those are also the first amps that maybe hear the RB42s correctly. Pumping power into this. And then my signal source is the topping DX9 with the glass window, which is going out into the Kali sub, and the Kali sub out to the monoblocks, and the monoblocks out to this. And by the way, these cables are not really expensive. They were real cheap, like $60 on Amazon, but they don't sold anymore. And so I got them from Micca. Micca actually contacted me. It's been like years because they don't come out with anything new. And they're like, hey, we got the new G2. And I'm like, oh, all right, cool, whatever. And the MB42, and then when they made it the X, they added the crossover components because the MB42 original had no crossover at all. And in fact, I have the page up. They still sell the original uncrossovered MB42 for like $70. And then the MB42X Advanced, which is the crossovered one, for like $90. And now these G2 for $100. And the thing is, what the fuck, Micah?
To all the kids with heavier embraces and freckly faces.
Like, I didn't do enough breaking. I definitely haven't put 100 hours of breaking on these. I've maybe got 15 to 20 hours of use. Because I set them up and I'm just going to like, all right, I'll make sure they work. And then I just started listening to them. Just next track. Then I sat here yesterday and I watched anime with them with the subwoofer. Or without the subwoofer. And I'm like vocals, and I've got $6,000 speakers sitting right behind them. And I'm like, you know what? These are good enough. That's it, isn't it? It's good enough, isn't it? Like, there are aspects of these speakers that actually put to shame quite a lot of speakers that cost way more. Like the treble just now. Here's the thing. You can have, here is a set of $1,300 Buchart speakers. Right? And you could, yes, it does have a bigger 6.5-inch driver, but that tweeter, although it's in a massive waveguide, is still just a little tiny, piece of felt, silk dome, right? It's just a little silk dome. So that and that could absolutely be compared. And that could absolutely be compared. That's the thing. Like, yeah, maybe that tweeter costs more. Maybe it's like $100 to buy that tweeter as a replacement. And that one costs $10. But if you rip it apart, does that $90 more for the tweeter correspond? Or is it the crossover that they're doing just as good as that? Like, I don't understand it. Here, let's... Right now there's no subwoofer on, by the way. There's a depth to this that's otherworldly. The only way to put it. It makes no fucking sense. It's just like, What? No, come on. The sub was on. Or you got those speakers on in the background too, and it's like, nope. Now skip forward. I'm gonna let the bass hit, huh? I'm not blasting them either. I can take them to, I think I had these at 5. Straight off the bat, what's the difference between RB42? RB42 do bass better. They just do more bass better. I'd say 15% more bass on the RB42s. They're $50 more. You're paying for that thing. They're also harder to drive. These are a little bit easier to drive. I am still using 150 watts into them. But if you're using them near field, which is like here, if I drag those over, now these are just little $100 speakers. Fuck you, Micca. What? All I keep asking Micca for is a bigger speaker. When they were making just this, I wanted a 5-inch version or a 6-inch version. Then they said, no, we'll make the RB42s. And they became the best speaker that you could get for under like $250. They just wanted a passive speaker, not like an active edifier or something. So then I'm like, all right, cool. You kept it the 4-inch, but now I want a bigger speaker. So here we are, 5 years after that. Still a 4-inch speaker. And they've somehow improved it to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just starting to not care if it's this tiny little speaker. Where's good music? Hold on.
Oh, sometimes I think
But the vocal tonality. Because that's the thing. When you hear a little speaker, it could sound small. It could sound off. It could sound like they're trying to balance, mid-range and treble. And it's like, it doesn't work. Or the box is too small, or the box is not ported properly. This is like the Vanitu's I just did the review of. The Vanitu T1 Encore Plus Pro 4000s. It's like they've been using that same speaker for a decade. And if you just keep hammering at something, eventually it becomes so perfect, you just have to stop. And I didn't think there was much potential left in something like Micca MB42X size and cost. I thought we were going to upgrade, RB42, much more dense box, crazy looking drivers, crazy crossover components. It's going to get more expensive and bigger and more expensive and bigger, and that's the only way we're going to move forward. Turns out, 9-inch nails on. They're loud. I mean, I'm fucking blasting them, but they're loud and they're not making that much noise. The ports will chuff. I've gotten the ports to chuff, even though they're plastic. They're better than the ones that were on the boombox. It's a straight cardboard. But here's the only honest thing I could say ever is that I sat here. Wait, we do the thing where I lean back and I do this. I see my feet. I sat here yesterday and the day before for 3 days, just watching my anime TV shows. I'm watching Succession because my friends have got to watch Succession. I'm like, all right, I'll go watch Succession. And I never once was like, I should turn these off and put the surround sound on. Or, you know what? I should turn these off and put the fucking $6,000 speakers on. Or I should go hook up the Bucart anniversary tents. It just didn't. You hear that static? Because that's in the song. This is Michael Kamen. This is a Die Hard 1. It's just... What is this quality?
Harmonic group unity. This brilliant 6-piece band.
It's right in the middle.
Melds together each instrument. What a sound.
This is a test sound, so I should be able to play it. There's children playing 10 feet behind that speaker. What are you fucking doing? People are going to ask me now, and this is the problem. I'm going to lay here staring at the sky. People are going to ask me, Zeos, I need to buy one of the cheap speakers. Should I get the MB42X? It's not even the X. It's the MB42 G2. Or should I get RB42s? And I think on a desk, I tell you to get these. In a room with all the infinite power of the world, RB42s are they're gonna beat them for like impact. But holy fuck. Again, we're back to that 4-letter word that everyone loves to say. It's just because there's no other way to describe it. You need to hear them, and it's going to cost you $99 so that you can be like, Yeah, let's go up to another one of these demos.
Ensemble power.
Just listen to this guy's voice. You don't need. I'm going to try to get out of this while falling over. It's not happening. I'm falling over. Oh God. Yoga balls, man's best friend and worst enemy. So I did the monoblocks, the little Fosse monoblocks with them, which is, again, it's expensive. But if you ran like a clean 40 watts through these on a desk, you'd be fucking done. Little tiny little baby boys. Hi. How you doing? You're so cute. The grills, by the way, in case you're wondering, are just Micca grills. Strong-ass magnets, I'll say that. They may have improved the magnetic qualities to make them much more insane. And if you don't want to run them upside down, you just run them upside down. Jesus Christ, just slap them off my fucking stands. Everything in this system, except for the speaker cable, costs more than these speakers. Speaker cable was cheap. I got a $500 sub coming from a $1,000 DAC on $170 speaker stands, through $2,000 amplifiers, through a fucking $600, and it doesn't, you know what? They're the most important part. They're legitimately the most important thing that's happening right now.
Interwoven harmonic and melodic strands, and the interplay of blended horns with the rhythm section. A dancing, swirling surge of nuanced sound.
What utter bullshit he's speaking, but the tone of his voice, like, I'm getting the same vibes I did on the $2,200 fucking Mon acoustics, which are over there, out of like $100 pair of speakers, as far as like how they shouldn't sound like this. They should sound worse. Okay, so this is from Oz. Let's enable the sub, which very fancy. I have a fluid audio pedal, and that's a pedal powered Kali 6.2. If I unstep on this, because I don't have a latching one, now we'll have that little 6.5-inch sub, dual 6.5-inch sub. And let's start that track over again. Fuck. So you don't have to have a $500 sub. You can have any sub. You have a cheap little shitty fucking Polk sub you found in the trash. Anything that takes over what these are probably stopping at like 65, 70, maybe they get down to 60 hertz. You don't want them there. You don't want them to try there, because then the port gets chuffy and bad for bass. That's where you get the RB42s. If you have a subwoofer, you spend $100 on these little discrete black boxes, and you run as much power as you could run through them, because they could seem to take it, and you just tune the sub, you tweak the thing, and you put the angles, and I just put them on these giant speaker stands, and it's just like, oh, shit. If I black curtained this, if I had a curtain that could slide across this, and I sat someone who didn't know anything, and I sat them here to listen to music, or TV shows, or movies, or fucking anime, or OnlyFans, porn rips, whatever you fucking, what was that? There was ASMR, not safe for work. If I play that behind the curtain and said, how much do you think this system is worth? I could obviously downgrade the amps, and I could downgrade the DAC, and I could even downgrade the sub, but I wouldn't, because Kali 6.2 is fucking amazing sub. You'd have no concept these are $100 speakers. They're just... Now that I've got the subwoofer like taking over for the low end, these sound louder. I haven't raised the volume at all. It's still at 5.5. It's still down. But the subwoofer is taking over enough that these things are now like complete. That's not distortion. That's perfectly clean and clear. What? I don't even know what to fucking say about these speakers. I don't even know. Let's take the sub away again. There you go. That also, when you hold the pedal down on the Kali sub, which has XLR ins and outs, it has an 80 hertz cutoff, so it won't let 80 hertz go to the speakers unless you push down that pedal or have a latching pedal, and then it releases full tilt to the speakers. So that's where we're at. That's what all this whole time has been, full release to tilt to the speakers. I don't understand. I just don't understand. How'd they do this? You could have if you are an engineer in college right now and you want to do a case study on something, on the improvements over time, go buy yourself a set of MB42s without a crossover. Then get yourself a set of MB42X with a crossover. And then you get yourself a set of these G2s. And just assess them. By the way, Samurai Champloo background, because what fucking year is it? That's what that feels like. It feels like, hey, Zeus, this is a fresh channel coming out in 2014. I'm still doing reviews in my grandparents' attic fucking room. It's like, that's how old the Micca MB42 is. I was doing this shit before I had an apartment, a house. Fucking Chewbacca was probably a baby. She died at 16 years old in 2021. My sweet girl. Everyone's going to say their apologies or their condolences. That means when Chewbacca was a wee little thing, these speakers were out. And now this is the newest revision of them. I don't.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You know, many people.
How loud that is too. It's like if I'm talking normally and I got Richard Cheese comes on.
It's really funny to yell out
Freebird.
Freebird.
Like they're kicking. Look, I don't have to sell them. They're $100. You just have to know they exist. Because I think I saw them and I'm like, oh look, there's a new Micca, and I didn't give a shit because I know the RB42s are better than they are. But are they? That's not a joke. Like literally not a joke. The tonality wise, sound delivery, sound depth, these might be better. And the only reason you don't buy these is because in your head you're like, well, wait a second, Zeos. RB42 G2? I don't know. I'll ask, but the distributor who I get the stuff from, sends me the Micca cables, he doesn't know either. It's wild because he's American. He's like, hey, China. Hey, Micca in China. What's up? And they're just like stone cold. They don't say fucking anything. And then all of a sudden this just shows up. So your guess is as good as mine. This is sub off, by the way. All right, I gotta end this video before it gets 30 minutes long. So I think I talked for like 40 minutes about these, and they're the best speakers in my house. These are absolutely the best speakers in my house. But price to performance, these are the best speakers in my house. And isn't that what we're looking for? People want a range in their YouTube reviewers. Well, here's my range: $6,000, $100. Both will blow your fucking mind. One just lets you have money for the rest of the things you live with. Next. This is just them, no sub. They do piano tonalities correctly with a 4-inch little tiny driver. Like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Next. Rob fucking Zombie. And I haven't set them up on the Nearfield desk, which I'm going to because I got to send those back because they're doing an upgrade. You know what it is? They're upgrading the Monacoustic Supermon Minis probably because G2s exist. That's it. Everyone's got to focus now. Hyper focus. Oh shit. This $100 speaker is going to kick all our asses. We better do some emergency crossover adjustments or something. I don't know. Links to these. If my luck is anything like it has been, I will link to these. They'll be sold out in 40 minutes. You'll get 19 pairs. You won't see them for months. I'm so sorry. That's it. I'll just be so sorry for you guys. Again, I would love to play music, but unless I rip some more Mark Ribier off the internet, so I don't mind if I give Mark my money. I just don't want to have copyright infringements and then channel blocks and all that other shit. And then they re-review to spend your $500 on the Kali sub. Hold on. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so pajama pants, Micca MB42s. It's 2016 all over again. And I couldn't be fucking happier. Patreon subscribe star, support this channel, get to see these reviews early. If this video went public, which I'm assuming it did, and you go and they're out of stock, which I'm assuming they are, keep in mind, I only have about 900 patrons, and maybe about a third of those people watch the videos. So of the 300 people, all those people who wanted a pair of these got them. If you waited for it to go public, well, you can't buy them. So think about how much you could save by spending $5 a month. You could get reviews early and then know to buy $100 speakers to save the hassle of waiting. You also get to see reviews early, participate in yard sales from the 1st to the 10th of every month. And I ship free content to the United States and Canada and half shipping international on anything I'm selling in the yard sale. Mostly IMs at this point because I'm pumping those out. I'm like, I wouldn't sell these because why would I sell these? Because these are the best fucking speakers that exist in the whole fucking world. Bach plays through them. Here are the sound demos. I got to get sound demos set up. I have like 15 sound demos to do. So I got to do the $6,000 speakers. I got to do the $100 speakers. I got to do the fucking $1,200 speakers. I got the $4,000 speakers. The reason I stopped reviewing a lot of cheap stuff is because we were set. We didn't need another cheap speaker. The RB42s exist at $150. Maybe you need a self-powered one, you go with an edifier. But now Micah is just like, hey, no. Re-review this. We improved this. And I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
I know I've been drinking.
Oh! Granted with the sub, but holy fuck. Bones, UK, Dirty Little Animals, and the Arcane soundtrack. So yeah, like I was saying, $5 a month, sound demos here, $10 a month, private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where you could ask me questions directly, and you get into a lifetime swap meet channel once you're there. So maybe you could sell literally anything to afford these speakers because they're fucking crazy affordable. And again, you don't need Star Crimson monoblocks for it, but when in Zeos' house or Rome, I don't want to ground this out either. These are monstrously heavy, cheap speaker cables. They don't sell these anymore. It's a shame because they were super cool. Shelly Labs introduced them to me. They were like, hey, look at these speaker cables we got. I'm like, how much did you spend? And they're like, $60. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah, no, I'm done. You're done. We're done. Thank you. I'm going to actually legitimately leave them here for... No, I'm not. I'm taking those out. I'm going to put them on the desk. I'm going to run them off the fucking IAEMA. You know what? Review's over. I'll put them on my desk for you. Give me a second. I'm going to do that. Oh. So I am actually pretty high on the IAEMA A07 Max, which is a 300 watt per channel amp. And I do have that sub enabled. That's still playing the sub over there. But this is like a $60 amp. Zeos, link to the IAEMA A07 Max. The fuck, bros. This is... And you don't have to run them upside down. That's just me being me. But I'm actually sitting pretty low. So I want that... God, that subwoofer's kicking ass too. All these subwoofers are kicking ass. Everything's fucking amazing. All right, I'm leaving. Thank you to Utena and Mark Ribier and... It's so good. It's so good.